I usually hate international breaks, but this one, spicy. And we'll talk about it after this.
Defense, it's Arturo Vidal to finish it in style. Superb.
Welcome to episode 198 of the Football Weekly Podcast. I'm your co-host, Reginald Dino, getting close to that 200 episode mark. Very excited, looking forward to that. We might have a few special surprises for that show. The way the podcast is going, we might hit that in September. It's not very much weekly. We try to do it, but life gets in the way. You know how things go. So here we are. But like I mentioned in the intro, guys, I hate international breaks. This international break was amazing. I had a great time watching all the football. There were so many great games going on. The Nation League quarterfinals, or is it the quarterfinals? The Nation League's quarterfinals happened. Is it the quarterfinals? Yeah, quarterfinals. Canada, Mexico, Canada, USA. What else happened? Champions League draw was last week. I mean, there were so many things that happened in this past 2 weeks. It was exciting to watch. Brazil, Colombia, I believe was a game. Brazil, Argentina was a game as well. I mean, guys, if you're a fan of international football, this past 2 weeks was, that was Christmas for most of us. Like my club football, love my club football. I mean, everybody who knows me knows I rate Champions League higher than even the World Cup. So I love my club football. But this past week, excellent. Excellent for drama, excellent for good games. I mean, the Nations League quarterfinals, all 3 games went into PKs. Amazing, guys, amazing. And the reason why it went into PKs is because most of the teams had to come back from deficits in the first leg. Great. It was great to watch. Great to watch. So we're going to start off here in North America. We're going to start off in CONcacaf, the worst soccer. Is it a federation? I guess it's a federation. The worst soccer federation in soccer. I mean, it's awful. CONcacaf is awful. But we'll get into it. CONCACAF Nations League semifinal between Panama and the USA. Panama beats the USA 1-0 on I think it was an injury time, stoppage time goal to send the USA to the third place game. Guys, listen to me very carefully. I've mentioned this so many times on this show. I'm getting sick of saying it. Why do we place a premium on the US men's soccer team? Why? Average players at best. And I heard somewhere, and I agree with it wholeheartedly. I heard somewhere when you look at the players on the U.S. men's national team and where they play, you would say, oh my God, this team on paper should smoke everybody. Because Pulisic plays at AC Milan, and Weah plays at Juventus, and this guy plays at Dortmund, and this guy plays at Juventus, and this guy and that guy. That guy plays in the EPL, and that. And the point the guy was making was, well, listen, that guy plays for Juventus, but he's not a Juventus player. And you're sitting there saying, what are you talking about? He plays for Juventus. He's not a Juventus player. And I'll take, for example, Tim Weah. Tim Weah plays for Juventus. That's not a player that you would associate with Juventus. Not me, anyway. Joe's a AC Milan fan. Says Christian Pulisic is having a great season. Okay, he's having a great season at AC Milan. Where are AC Milan in the standings? 9th, 10th, 8th, somewhere around there. Somewhere where Joe doesn't even want to discuss where they are. Weston McKennie, Juventus, same plate as Tim Weah. Just got their manager fired. Thiago Motta's out at Juventus. Where the other players are playing, some EPL. So I think their goalies in the EPL. I think Matt Turner, he used to play for Arsenal, backup, never saw any action at all, but on paper he played for Arsenal. Arsenal's finishing second in the EPL. He must be a good goalkeeper. Why is there a correlation there? He doesn't play. I know most of the talk is coming from the United States, Alexi Lalas and Toilet Twillman and all those other idiots down in the United States. I know that's where we should be fighting, France and those teams for those big trophies. No, you should. No, you can't. And you shouldn't be. I don't know why you think you should be. The sense of entitlement in the sport from the U.S. media is absolutely crazy. You want to talk that way about basketball or NFL football? Go nuts. You should be. It's the only country it's played in. Go nuts. But when it comes to World Cup and things like that, you're not on that level. Don't let the FIFA rankings fool you, guys. Please, FIFA rankings are a joke as well. We already know this. So a buddy asked me a question the other day as well. I was talking with my buddy about this as well. And he came up to me and said, if you're the best player on a bad team, on a team that's about to get relegated, say in the EPL, if you're on Leicester City and you're the best player on that team, how good are you? Don't know. If you're the best player on a team that's about to get relegated, should that mean that you should start on Inter Milan? Should you start on Liverpool? Should you start on whatever team's in first or second place in the respective league if you're the best player on the worst team? Sometimes, I guess. Sometimes. For me, most of the times, no. Just look at the teams that are about to get relegated in whatever league you want, and then look at their best player and ask yourself if you really would want that guy on your team. Would he make a difference on your team? The worst team in the UPL is, I think, Southampton. I don't want anybody on that team, on my team. None of them. So that's your homework for tonight. Go look at the league that you follow. Go look at the worst team in that league and see if they'll take any one of those players from that team. So is Pochettino on the hot seat? I don't think so. I don't know. I'm sure they'll give him the World Cup to figure it out. But again, guys, like, it's not like they're the best team in the world. They played bad and they lost. They're average football team. Average. Second semifinal was Canada-Mexico. Absolute disgrace. It's a CONcacaf masterclass, as I like to call it. I was watching the game. I'm ready not to get calls. I'm so ready not to get calls when it's a Mexico versus anybody. Well, Mexico versus Canada. I'm ready not to get calls. In LA again. Spanish-speaking referee again. I'm ready not to get calls. So ready. CONcacaf, Nations League, Gold Cup, all of that stuff. I guess the only place we can play is Las Vegas or LA. Those are the only two places that this can happen. There was a complaint from the U.S. men's national team as well. Like, look at the stands. There's nobody here. Yet the games are still in LA. Where was Gold Cup? Was Gold Cup in, not Gold Cup, Copa America. Copa America in LA as well? I mean, you guys, America brags about all the states they have. What? It doesn't even matter about America. Why does it have to be there? Why does it have to be there? You could put it in Mexico. You could put it in Vancouver. Bring in grass and let them play. You can do it in Vancouver. I don't know why it has to be in LA. Cornelius in the box. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you cheer for. I don't care. It's a penalty shot. It's a penalty shot all day, every day, any game. except a game where Mexico's involved. All day. It brings up a question I was asking after the game. After the game, they were doing commentary or post-game analysis, and they were talking about, actually, this one was for Jonathan David against the United States, against Tyler Adams. Not enough contact for me. So my question was, well, then how much contact is enough contact for it to be a penalty shot in the box? How much contact is enough contact? Like, what's the level of contact in the box it needs to be before it comes a penalty shot? For me, PK, cut and dry. You foul the guy in the box, penalty shot. We're looking at fouls now and saying, it's a bit soft. Oh, yeah, he did catch him, but it's a contact sport. So how much contact is contact then? Because I've seen what we label soft PKs given. I've seen stone cold penalties not given. There's too much of a gray area, too much of a fine line there. Any contact in the box is a PK. I don't want to hear not for me, not enough contact. I don't want to hear any of that. It's nonsense. You're pregnant or you're not pregnant. You're not a little pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. You're either contact or there's not contact. Cut and dry, ABC, 1, 2, 3, jam, done. I don't want to spend too much time on CONCACAF, but I mean, the Mexican national team is awful as well. Awful to watch. That is not football. If that team played in the EPL, they probably would have got 10 yellow cards just for delaying the restart of a game. I know they're terrible, and the antics on the field shows me that they know they're terrible. They know they're bad. They know they're not as good as Canada, and they know they're not as good as other teams. So these are the antics that we have to watch for 90 minutes of giving away a foul, then grabbing the ball and walking 10 feet with the ball and then throwing it back and nothing being done about it. There was one play in the game where they fouled, Mexican player fouled the Canadian game. He grabbed the ball under his arm and then untied his shoes and started tying his shoes with the ball under his arm while we're waiting for a restart. And the referee standing right there. Your shoes are good and tight? Okay, now let's take the free kick. What's going on, guys? You're making it way too, CONCACAF is making it way too obvious now. Way too obvious. You want to sit behind the ball and work on a counterattack? Okay, that's a tactic in football. But this time wasting and every time you get touched, going down and cynical fouls and fouling guys and picking up the ball and walking with it, and not for me, man. Not for me. Didn't watch the CONCACAF final. I don't even know who won the Nations League CONCACAF because I'm not watching Mexico play. It's awful to watch. Awful. There are 2 goals that they score. Well, the one goal, we call it, me and my friends, we call that a bunga goal. Hits off 10 guys and then falls right in your path to score. Okay, whatever. Unlucky. But the free kick, fantastic. Fantastic. Can we look at that and say the wall was in the wrong place? I don't know. But that free kick was fantastic. Other than those 2 things, I hope that's not the Mexico team that's going to a World Cup because they're shit. Absolute shit. So Canada played a pretty good game against Mexico. I thought they were trying to keep the tempo up, and Mexico was breaking it up because they're not quick enough, maybe not fast enough to react to things physically, mentally, whatever it is. They had to play that way to win. Okay, whatever, fine. Well, actually, you know what? I'll give the referee a little bit of a break as well because Alistair Johnston should have been sent off. Friend of the show, Alistair Johnston should have been sent off. He fouled one guy, got a yellow card, and then he fouled 3 other guys. Most referees would have given him the second yellow after the third. Referee let him get away with another one again after, and then he didn't do anything again after that. So I'll give him that. I'll give him that. If we were being honest, I'm not a biased person, so I'm being honest. Alistair Johnson should have been sent off. So I'll give the referee a little bit of a break on the refereeing. But all in all, it's just no control over that game. Canada loses that game 2-0. They ended up playing the United States in the third place game. And I said to people, this game's probably going to be the best game out of everything, like of the weekend. The final's going to be garbage because Mexico's in it. So this game's going to be pretty good. It's two teams that want to play football quick. There's going to be lots of counters, lots of chances. It's going to be good. I don't know. I thought Canada was head and shoulders better than United States, the team that everyone's supposed to be afraid of in CONcacaf. We were head and shoulders better than them, even when the captain went down. And I do want to mention Alphonso Davies. And guys, again, not biased. I say things the way I see them. If I'm wrong, message and tell me I'm wrong. But Alphonso Davies should be the best player on the field anytime Canada takes the pitch in a CONCACAF game. Anytime. Mexico, United States, I don't care who you are. Mexico, United States, he should be the best player on the field. And he rarely is. Did he do enough against Mexico? I don't think so. Bad injury against the United States. Maybe he got injured in the Mexico game and decided to keep going and playing in the United States. The United States game only lasted about 12 or 13 minutes. Tore his ACL. So he's out until next year, probably, possibly. Should be ready for the World Cup, but he's fighting with Bayern Munich for a league. He's fighting with Bayern Munich for Champions League title. The Champions League final is in Munich. Would have been great. Had a lot to look for this season, and now it's done after an international break. But you know how I feel about international breaks during the season, so we won't get too deep into that. But the point I'm trying to make is, for me, he should be the best player on the field, no matter what. And most times he's not. Leave it at that. Staying in North America. Oh, actually, well, let's finish off United States and Canada. Canada won the game 2-1. Jonathan David scored a crazy goal in the second half to give us the lead. Moise Bombito and Derek Cornelius, amazing. Kone did very well. A couple of times he held onto the ball a little bit too long, but he did very well. Estacio did very well. Jonathan David, well, what can you say? I really wanted to see Promise David play. We got a chance to see Jebson, but late in the Mexico game, really didn't have an opportunity to do anything of substance. But I really wanted to see Promise David, but didn't get to see him. All in all, I think it was a great semifinal and third place game for Canada, finishing third in the tournament, going into a World Cup next season or next year with this confidence. Again, Jesse Marsh, I thought was going to be a bust. Breath of fresh air, I think. United States would love to have him. Love to have him. We move on. But actually, again, before we leave North America, I'm not going to talk about this too long. I want to get Joe in here as well, or Joe on the show to talk about it. I think we're 5 games into the TFC season, and I said we're going to give it 5 games before I say anything about it. Terrible. Are there good things coming out of this? I don't know. DeAndre Kerr might be a good thing coming out of this. 2 goals in 2 straight games. And not just 2 easy goals, 2 goals that you have to actually work to get. Good for him, Ajax kid. Are we seeing anything different as far as gameplay goes and how things are moving? I don't know. Does Robin Fraser know his best starting lineup? I don't think so yet. Not a knock on him yet. It's 5 games in, I get it. But he made some substitutions at halftime against New York Red Bull and turned the game around. DeAndre Kerr and Etienne Jr. coming in, turned the game around. Why aren't they starting? Started Insigne because of some injuries, and Sorio's not here because he was at Nations League. Richie Larrera's hurt, so Insigne started. Has he changed a little bit since he was frozen out of the team to say here's what you're missing? No. Same guy from last year. We'll dive deeper into it when Joe's on the show, so we can have a real discussion about this TFC team. But I see the same season we had last year incoming, and that's not good. So now we move. Nations League, UEFA Nations League. What a weekend, guys. France, Croatia going into the France stadium up 2-0. Portugal, Denmark. Portugal going into, I think it was in Portugal that game. They're down in the game. Spain, Netherlands, I believe, was tied 2-2. Now they're back in the Netherlands for the last leg of the tie. Italy, Germany. Crazy games, guys. Crazy games. So the winners of each tie, France came back from 2-0 down to tie to score 2 goals and take it into extra time and then win it in PKs. Guys, if you watch that PK, if you watch those PKs, oh my God. Thierry and Joe's buddy Teo Hernandez. Oh my God. That's awful. That's awful. Anytime you take a PK, listen, I've missed a big PK. I've missed it. The goalie saved it. Big time PK, I missed it. I say I missed it. Goalie saved it. Whatever, if you want to call that a miss, it's fine. I know the pressure. But I was 16 at the time. I'm not a professional footballer who is one of the 5 best PK takers on my team. That PK was awful. Awful. But anyways, France goes through. Croatia missed, I think, 3 PKs in their set, so they go through. Portugal, the same. They came back and beat Denmark. I believe that went into PKs as well, so they won it in PKs. Spain and Netherlands went into PKs as well, and Spain beat the Netherlands on PKs. And then Germany just outlasted Italy in their tie. So we have, I believe it's France, Spain, Portugal, Germany. That's the semifinals for the Next Nation Cup. And guys, if you watch the Germany-Italy game, that Germany kit is crazy good. Crazy good. A word I used when I was watching it, that kit is delicious. Crazy good kit. Just simple white shirt with black ring around the collar, black around the sleeve, end of the sleeves, black shorts, black socks. Classic. I know it's the anniversary jersey. I don't know if that's going to be the one that they're going to be wearing going forward, but I know it's their anniversary jersey. Amazing jersey, guys. If you haven't seen it, go look at it online. Crazy jersey. Crazy kit. It looks amazing. Enough with this Adidas with that stupid swoosh that continues from the jersey through the shorts. It's awful. It's ugly. Terrible. I just watched the Arsenal women today play Real Madrid in the in Champions League quarterfinals, and that kit just reminds me, oh my God, Real Madrid and Juventus are Adidas, and they don't have that stupid swoosh that continues. I don't know how they got away with not having to have it, but Arsenal, you need to get on that page because that is trash. We have a good Nations League semifinals coming up. I don't know when they are, but those should be 2 good games, and the final should be good as well. So we'll look out for that. Champions League final 8 has been decided. Bayern versus Inter, which should be a good tie, great tie. Bayern Munich have 2 major injuries on their team with Alphonso Davies out for the rest of the season. It looks like, or at least 6 months. They said, and Upamecano came back from international break injured. He should be out for a couple. I think they said 3 or 4 weeks. So they have some navigating to do there. Barca Dortmund is another tie. You'd expect Barcelona to be able to navigate that. PSG Villa, the way PSG played against Liverpool and shut them down, I believe that's a done deal as well. And the big one, Arsenal Real Madrid. And everyone, when Real Madrid beat Atletico Madrid, everybody was messaging me, "Oh, you guys are done now. You guys are done now." I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, what do you mean? Like, Arsenal have a hard time beating teams that play in a low block and put 10 guys in the box, and we have to try to break it down and score. And we usually get hit on a counter. We have a problem. We have problems with those teams, which has to be addressed in the offseason and the next season and going forward. Where we succeed against teams is teams like Manchester City, teams like Liverpool. We succeed against those teams because they don't play like that. They play an open type of game where they're trying to attack as well, which is going to leave spaces behind them. And we're good at attacking those open spaces with the players that we have. If we were full strength, I would give this to Arsenal. If we were full strength. Oh yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Like how do you draw Liverpool twice, beat Manchester City 5-1, and then you can't beat Everton? There's a contrast in the style of play, and that's why. I don't know why Arteta can't get these guys to break down this low block. I'm not sure how difficult it is. Not a coach, but Arsenal have problems with that. So I think this game's going to be very open. I don't think Real Madrid's going to come to the Emirates or even play in the Bernabeu with a low block, 10 guys behind the ball. I don't think it's going to be like that. Don't get me wrong. They got very dangerous players. Rodrigo, Vinicius up top. I mean, Valverde in the midfield. Got a whole bunch of guys you got to be wary of, but stranger things have happened. Would I rather play Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid? I'd rather play Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid, are you crazy? In the 4-4-2 that Simone has them playing in the style that they play, not a chance. We wouldn't score a goal. We wouldn't score a goal against Atletico. I mark my word. I guarantee you that. So would I rather have played Real or Atletico? The answer is Real. So technically, I got what I want. I got what I wanted, and we'll see what happens when Champions League rolls around, but I can't wait. I honestly think that Arsenal have a chance. And you can call me crazy if you want, but I don't want to go up against the Diego Simeone with the attack they have again, with Griezmann and Julian Alvarez and all those guys up top, and Correa being able to come off the bench. And why would I want to play against the midfield of Marcus Llorente and Griezmann and Riquelme? Why would I want to play against that? Giving the ball to Julian Alvarez and Angel Correa. Like, why would I want to play against that? And their defense is solid as well. Like the way that they would play, I don't even think we'd score a goal. I don't think Arsenal would score a goal if we played Atletico Madrid. That's how tight that defense is and how well drilled they are. If you watch the games and saw how they played against Real Madrid, I think we'd have a big problem against Atletico Madrid. I think we'd have a big problem against them. Because they'll play in a low block and hit you on a counter with 4 or 5 guys that can ball. I think we'd have a problem. But for me, again, thank you, Real Madrid, for getting through, because I'd rather play you than Real Madrid. Thank you, Real Madrid, for getting through, because I'd rather play you than a Diego Simeone coach team. That's all I'm going to say about that. Lastly, we're going to talk about the World Cup in the United States and Canada and Mexico. As it's getting closer, you're starting to see or hear pundits in countries like, are we really ready to host this? I don't know if Canada is, because they're supposed to be adding seats to BMO Field for this this tournament. Any construction started? Actually, you know what? Sorry. Construction has started. It has started. My bad. But are we ready to welcome teams and people into the city? It would depend on what teams are here, but it's still going to be very overcrowded. The traffic situation is ridiculous. Where the field is, it's not conducive to big crowds. Let's just leave it at that. It's only on the subway line at certain points. I guess you can, as long as you can get to Union Station, you'll be fine. But I mean, I don't know, guys. Honestly, I don't know. I think a bunch of us are gonna go watch some World Cup games, but not here in Toronto. I think we're gonna go to the States and try to watch some games there, depending on what's going on with this whole thing between the U.S. and Canada right now, or U.S. and the rest of the world. So we'll see. But something was brought to my attention today, and I found it funny. Maybe not funny, but curious. Iran made the World Cup. A couple of, I guess, qualifying for the World Cup for certain federations happened while Nations League was going on. I know Ghana played, Suriname, I think. I can't remember who they played. I think they won 5-0 or something like that. So this is World Cup qualifying for some federations. So Iran made the World Cup. Okay, Iran going to Canada, no problem. Iran going to Mexico, no problem. Iran is a country, USA is a country that Iran are not allowed to visit. If you have an Iranian passport, you can't go to the United States. So they were saying if Iran makes it to the knockout stages, or I think quarters, all those games, shockingly, are in the States. And let me guess where they'll be. They'll be in Los Angeles. So all those games are going to be there, and Iranians with an Iranian passport cannot travel to the USA. So how are they going to play? Are you going to move some games to Canada or Mexico to allow them to play? And then I was talking to someone, and oh yeah, don't worry about it. FIFA will take care of it. They'll give them a special waiver so they can play in a game. I'm like, FIFA's that big? FIFA's bigger than a country's government? If someone's on a no-fly zone, FIFA can just, just let them in, and he's going to be allowed to go in? Pretty powerful group of individuals, I'd say. I don't think there's any, well, I shouldn't even say this, but stranger things have happened, but I don't think there's any, real concern of Iran making it to the semis or the quarters. Again, I shouldn't say it. Based on track record, maybe it won't happen. But again, I shouldn't say it because, again, stranger things have happened. It should be very interesting to see what happens. If FIFA's allowed to get, well, the whole congregation's got to go. The coaches, the medical staff, the trainers, the assistant coaches, the video guy, the players, everyone's got to go. So if he can get 50 waivers for these guys, if they can get 50 waivers for that team to go play a tournament in a country that they are not allowed to visit, that's one powerful organization. Powerful organization. So guys, as usual, if you're not subscribed to our podcast, what are you doing? We're on YouTube, as you can see. We're on TikTok, Amazon Music, Stitcher, TuneIn, Player FM. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're everywhere you use to get your podcasts. So guys, international break is over. Love to see the back of it, but this one was great. Club football starts again Saturday. Arsenal don't play until Tuesday. Hopefully Saka's back for the second leg of the Champions League against Real Madrid. Let's hope to see that. Show 199 coming up, one before the big one. Hopefully we can have Joe in the on the show and plan something special for show 200. You never know. Only way you'll find out is if you watch. So guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.